Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be recommending some booktubers to you, but if you don't like these books, then go watch these booktubers. So I did a video a few months back saying if you like these books, watch these booktubers, but I thought it would be quite fun to do if you don't like these, then I think you should watch these people, because sometimes it's so nice to find people that share your dislike of a book, because some books are really, really popular. And if you don't like it and everyone's like, this is the best book ever, this is the best book ever, it's really nice to find someone that's like, I didn't like the book. And you're like, oh my God, I really relate to that. So I thought this would be quite a fun way to find people that share in the books that you dislike. And even if you do like these books, then I think you should watch these booktubers because they're all lovely, amazing people. So whether you like the books or not, I think you should be watching these channels. Like, irrespective of whether you agree or disagree on the books. And I'm not saying whether my opinions on these books probably, I think, differ for the majority of these. I don't always agree with these people, but that doesn't stop me being friends with them. Hurts me to say, but if you didn't like Malice or John Gwynne or his books, then I think you should be watching Klaus from The Contradictorian. So, Klaus, I mean, it's in his name, The Contradictorian. He has very contradictory, he has very unpopular opinions. So probably, like, if you have a favourite book, he probably doesn't like it. Like, whatever that book may be, he probably doesn't like it because he's very picky. I'd say he's a picky book reader. That he has his favourites, but he has a lot of books that don't live up to them. Malice being one of them, he did not get along well with Malice. I don't think he enjoyed the writing style. I don't think he enjoyed much to do with it. I think he was okay with like the plot, but not the way that it was written in. I don't think he connected to the characters. I don't think he connected with the writing style. So if you didn't like Malice, unlike me, who absolutely loves John Gwynne's books, and I know that he's read both Malice and Valor, and I think he did prefer Valor to Malice, but if you were like Klaus, then you should go watch Klaus. And you should watch his opinion. He's very, very funny. He has such funny content. Apart from when he hates all my favourite books. I feel like this is sort of like an obvious one and just throwing it in here. But if you do not like books written by Sarah J. Maas, then I think you should be watching Alan from the Library of Alexandria, because he's hilarious in his dislike of the ACOTAR series. He has done a vlog reading the ACOTAR books, and it is hilarious, but he is so wrong in his opinions because these books are amazing and he just doesn't realise it because it's not to his taste. It's not to his taste, so he doesn't like it. But if Sarah J. Maas and her fantasy romance books are not to your taste either, then I definitely recommend watching Alan. Because he loves a lot of fantasy, but he doesn't like romance really in his fantasy books. So if you are like that and you also do not like the romance aspect that you find in fantasy romance, then I definitely recommend Alan and his video on ACOTAR, because if you also didn't like that book, you will probably find that video hilarious. But speaking of one of Alan's favourite books, which is Discworld, if you didn't like Discworld, and I know that she specifically didn't like the book Mort, then you should be watching Sophia's Thoughts. So Sophia really reads a lot of books. She's British, like me. She found Mort disappointing because she thought it was going to be focused on Death, but it wasn't Death, it was his apprentice. I have not read any Discworld books, so I cannot comment on my level of enjoyment on it. And she said that she didn't find it funny. And I know that a lot of people find Discworld funny, and that's why they read it, because they find it funny. But if you didn't find Discworld funny and you didn't enjoy the puns, then potentially your humour and your reading taste match with Sophia's, because she also wasn't a massive fan of Discworld, or Mort in particular. I'm not sure if she's read any of the other Discworld books, but I saw her not liking of Mort. Okay, so I feel like this one is a little bit... I feel like a lot of these are controversial because I tried to pick like really popular books. But if you didn't like The House in the Cerulean Sea, which I'm not sure if there are that many people that didn't like this, because like literally everyone loves this, but if you didn't like it, then you should be watching Lyna from Lyanna's Library, because she DNF'd this book. So if you were like her and you found that this was just too cutesy, then I think you should be watching Lyna. Lyna, I guess, similar to Klaus in that she is picky. She has the books that she likes, but she is not scared to crush on people's favourite books. And she's not scared to like go, I don't like these books. I don't like it because of X, Y, Z, and I don't understand why you all like it. And I'm like, but that's a favourite book of mine, Lyna. You've hurt me. Yeah, so she loves her. She's very brave with her opinions, and I'd say she's quite brave with her opinion of The House in Cerulean Sea, considering how much love this book gets and how many people really, really like this book. But I liked this book, I didn't love it. And I think I can see why Lyna as a person wouldn't click with this, because it's really, really cutesy. Like there's no really world building, there's not a whole load of plot. It's all focused on characters. And if you didn't like the characters in this, and you didn't like how cute and quirky they were, then you're probably not going to love it. If you were one of those silent people that weren't a fan of this book, then I'd recommend checking out Lyna. If you didn't like Shadow and Bone or the Grishaverse, then I would recommend checking out Ariel from A Cup of Books. Ariel has recently joined Booktube and she's started putting out content, and she's just so lovely. She loves like fairy tales and retellings, so if you have any of that content, then I definitely recommend checking out Ariel. But she wasn't a fan of the Grishaverse. I feel like the Grishaverse is probably one of those books that a lot of us enjoyed many, many years ago, but maybe if we read it now, we might not enjoy it as much. So maybe she's just got realistic views of Shadow and Bone. If you were not a fan of Shadow and Bone and that sort of cliche YA fantasy, then I would definitely recommend checking out Ariel and giving her channel some support. And then the final booktuber recommendation for if you do not like these books is, I think you should be watching She Was Only Evie if you do not like Brandon Sanderson. I was like, Evie doesn't like Sanderson, does she? No, she doesn't like Sanderson. And then I was rewatching her Unpopular Opinions and she was like, I don't like the author. I haven't got into any of his books. I've tried a few and I was like, oh yes, Evie definitely didn't like Sanderson. Just by rewatching that like small clip, I was like, no, she didn't like it. So if you haven't liked really any of Sanderson's books, then I'd recommend checking out Evie's channel, because you will find a like-minded soul there who also doesn't like his books. I love his books, and I've loved pretty much everything he's written. But I understand that on Booktube here, there are a lot of us that love the Cosmere and that love Sanderson's books. And we're quite loud and proud about how much we love these books and how much we talk about them and we chat about them, and the content on Sanderson is everywhere. But if you do not like Sanderson, then you're probably quite alone, because you're like, everyone's chatting about Sanderson. Where can I go for the people that don't want to talk about Sanderson? So if you do not like Sanderson's books, then I'd recommend checking out Evie's channel. She also reads a lot of classics. So if you like those sorts of books, then definitely check out Evie. Okay, so those are 6 booktuber recommendations for if you do not like these books. I will say, I like a lot of these books, so I would still recommend these books, and I would still recommend these booktubers even if you do like these books. Like, I like these books. I like a lot of these books, and I still watch these booktubers because we can all be friends even if we have different opinions. And that's the joy of reading, that everyone gets something slightly different out of a book. So even if you like these books, or even if you dislike these books, I'd recommend checking out these channels and supporting them and sharing the love of reading with them. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!